Let's now take a look at the aggregate supply curve. This is a little bit more complex. In some ways it's simple, but in other ways it's complex. In the long run, the aggregate supply curve is perfectly vertical. Here we have our price level, our real gross domestic product, and the aggregate supply curve, long run aggregate supply curve, is vertical because in the long run, producers adjust to price changes, price level changes. It may take them a little while. Some prices are sticky, wages are sticky. It takes a while for some prices to adjust in the marketplace. But in the long run, producers adjust to prices, and supply is only limited by the resources that are available. Supply is limited by resources. In Chapter 17, we took a look at how productivity is determined, and we looked at the 4 different types of resources. So let's list those. Get that out of the way here. So our 4 resources then are, first of all, land. And you read about these in Chapter 17, but just a quick review. Land is all of our natural resources. And so if something happens to destroy a natural resource in an economy, it's going to shift in the long-run aggregate supply curve. It's going to shift it to the left. So here we have curve 1. It'll shift it to the left here, illustrating a shrinking economy. Okay, so that's why it's important to take care of our natural resources. And then we have labor. If there's anything that decreases our supply of labor, maybe there's a civil war, or there was a bad epidemic, or something that limited the supply of labor. That would be another reason for our long-run supply curve to shift in. Capital, probably our most important resource. Put a star next to it. Buildings, equipment, machinery, all of the infrastructure in an economy, roads, electricity, water, all those things being delivered to us. Here in the United States, we just turn on the light switch. In Russia, they turn on the light switch and then wait to see if the electricity is going to come on. Okay, so we just take these things for granted. Reduction in capital means a shifting in of the long-run aggregate supply curve. And then the last category, entrepreneurial ability. And that is the Bill Gateses of the world, and ideas and inventions and all of those things. So a lot of that depends on education and training and innovation occurring today in order for that to grow tomorrow. So entrepreneurial ability, let's say that if schools got less funding, we just saw, for some reason, a decline in entrepreneurial ability. Then in the long run, we would see a shifting in, once again, of the long-run aggregate supply curve. So that's the long-run aggregate supply curve. So that's pretty simple and straightforward. The complicated part about aggregate supply comes with the whole concept that we even have a long-run aggregate supply curve as opposed to a short-run aggregate supply curve. So in the short run, and again, this is the classical theory, and there are different theories. You just have to keep in mind that these are all theories. So just take it all with a good grain of salt. Price level, real gross domestic product, and in the short run, we have an upward sloping aggregate supply curve. The reason for this is we can boil it down to one idea: stickiness of wages and prices. Okay, prices are likely to go up a lot quicker than they are to go down. depending on the product and what kind of a market you're looking at. Wages, they go down very slowly. Real estate prices also go down very slowly. But wages especially, you don't hear about too many professions where there's a decrease in wages. If you do, it's something that has occurred over a long period of time. For example, computer programmers, because of the fact that computer programmers in the United States did not used to have competition from outside the United States, they earned a pretty good wage. But today, there are computer programmers living in all parts of the world who are happy to do computer programming for HP or healthcare businesses, or you name it, and they are much more willing to take a lower wage than a United States computer programmer. So as a result, wages have eventually gone down for U.S. computer programmers, but it's taken a long time. So we say that wages and prices are sticky. And so because of that, you have this adjustment period going on, and that's the short run. So we say that this is the time it takes for firms to adjust to prices. So you can kind of think of it as a little bit of up and down going on, and as prices go up in the short run for a variety of reasons, which again it's all different theories, you see prices going up, then you might see an increase in the supply of one product or service or another. Okay, but in the long run, once all these adjustments are made, then the aggregate supply curve becomes vertical and is only limited by resources.